Okay, welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to be making some lovely water candles. What you need is little tiny taper candles, a metal dish, and extra wax. I know some people who tend to use like wax they bought at a store, or you can even do what I did, break up an old candle that you don't use, add any essential oils you want, any scents. Or I know most people nowadays actually have what is a tart warmer. You can, after you use the wax, you can actually dump it out into a cup, like a little plastic cup. It like flimsy, it pops out very easy, and save it. And once you save up enough, you can make water candles. This is actually one of the lovely water candles I have already made, and it turned out pretty well. For my first try. This is my first try. I've never made these before. So that one, it's a purely solely red water candle. You can make them a blend of a bunch of different colors. First thing you need to do is take the taper candle in the dish. You need to place the bit of hot wax. I'm using a ladle. And put it in the bottom of it and sit the tart in it. Let it, or taper as we call them, let it sit and cool for a bit. In order to melt the wax, what I did was I got two pots. One I filled halfway with water, and I started boiling it before I put this pot in. We put this one inside, and you put the wax on. If you don't do it that way, and you actually just put the pot of wax on the burner, the wax will actually tend to burn. It won't really, it'll melt, but it will burn to the bottom of the pan, which would be very horrible. So right now what I'm going to do actually is melt some more wax after I get the rest of the wax in the bottom of these, which I only have one left to do because I already did the others. And now I'm going to set it up and melt the wax. There's like a blue. I do have a white, which is what I'm actually going to melt next. And I got blue chips. I got these green, and this one's got like a peach side to it too. I do have a red one. It smells like cinnamon. And I got these, and I got little brown pieces too. And right now, I'm actually going to melt the white ones. So we're going to dump all that in. It smells like lavender and chamomile. So I'm actually going to wait for that to melt. We're going to use that as a starter, as the base for the white candles. I made it simple the first time and only used the white tapers and coated them all in the red wax. Right here is one of the wicks, and here is the other wick. Turned out pretty lovely. I love just the accent of the way they made the wax. When the water hits it, it washes up the wax and makes it in these cool little jagged patterns. It's so beautiful. It actually reminds me of a coral reef from like an ocean. So while I wait for this to melt, you're going to see I've already put these all coated the bottom in wax. You want to use something fireproof, typically something metal. But be careful so you don't burn yourself because this wax is very hot. And for cleanup for the pots, it is very simple. You can just, after you get all the wax out of the pot, after you dump all the liquid wax you see, what you can actually do is boil hot water in the pot, and it'll draw all that wax off of it. And you can just dump it out, and then all the wax will be gone, and it'd be easier, and you can just clean it with some dish liquid and water, or run it through the dishwasher afterwards. It's very simple. I recommend you do it where there's a hard floor. That way, if you do spill any wax, it's easier to clean up. But while I wait for this wax to melt, there is a little bit of red in it to give it a light pink tint. I'm going to wait for this to melt, and I will actually be right back. Okay, so I finally got all the wax melted. Now what we're going to do is take a candle. I think I'm going to do one of these. It may be easier. And you're just going to lightly set it right above the water. Just like so. You're going to take a cup or a spoonful, whatever you use to get your wax out of the pot. And as you pour it delicately on the thing, you're going to slowly lower into the water as you are pouring. This will help it cool faster, and it will also give it that nice and beautiful jagged look that looks kind of like a coral reef. Any loose wax that gets lost in there, you can always throw it back in the pot and let it melt. So far, this is what it looks like from the first dip. I know it's really hard to describe how to do this. Any pieces, you may have some little pieces that break off, but that's okay. You can always throw them back in the pot. And now, I'm going to do the other side. We're going to slowly pour as I dip it into the water to give it its lovely jagged look. And again, any pieces that are left over, like that, throw back in the pot. Can always be reused. Remelted down to make a new one. You can always add ice cubes to the water if you feel like it's getting too warm. Or you could always just dump it out and get new water. Now we're going to do the other side. We're going to delicately pour and dip. You want to do it slowly though, not as fast as I just did. You want to do it slowly, so it can form a nice upward pattern. And leftover wax, of course, can be reused. And I'm going to get some more cold water. Don't block any of the water. And we're going to keep going until we're out of this color. Tilt the pot. Okay. And we're going to just hover above the water. And we're going to slowly pour as I dip. It will float back upwards sometimes, so you just got to hold it there. Try to get all these wax chips off me though. And then any excess wax, melt it again. And just keep going until you are out of that color, and then you can melt a new color. So I'm going to finish up this color, and then I'll come back and we can do another color. Okay, now we're adding our next color. You only want to get a little bit of wax each time. And slowly pour as you're dipping. I know I'm using a bigger bowl because I needed a bigger bowl. This thing was getting too big that I actually couldn't fit my hand in the bowl with it. Any wax that breaks off, as I said before, doesn't mean it's not usable. I gotta make sure that I keep the wick uncovered. Trying to uncover the wick still. There we go. Any excess wax. Someone on TV is crying. Okay, well, I'm going to finish this one up. As you can see, it's coming along lovely, and I will be back. Okay, now we are back, and that is what it looks like as the finish. We're going to set this one aside, too. And that is how you make them. I'm going to finish up the rest of them, and then at the end, I will do one grand show of all the soaps that we've made, and all the soaps that, like all the soap crystals, too. I'm going to show you how to do all those, and then I will show you every candle I've made. So we will be back.